What's going on YouTube? Thomas L here. And this Friday is the new World War II zombie movie titled Overlord. Now, there's been loads of zombie movies in the past number of decades. And of course, the most popular zombie show on TV right now. So I decided to do a top 10 list of my 10 favorite zombie movies of all time. Alright, with that being said, here's my top 10 list. Coming in at number 10 will be Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Now, this movie was actually a real shocker. Because I remember when I first heard about the movie coming, I was like, okay, you're doing like a new take on the Jane Austen classic where the main characters are, fighting zombies. I mean, because, I also had Abraham Lincoln and Vampire Hunters on my head at the time, and that movie just was terrible. Anyway, but yeah, Pride, Prejudice, Zombies was actually not so bad. I actually kind of had fun with it. I mean, of course, Lily James, who is awesome in anything. I mean, cast Lily James in anything is a given. And also, Doctor Who himself, Matt Smith, was in this. Lena Headey from Game of Thrones fame. Pretty decent supporting cast. Yeah, I mean, it's not really. It's mainly PG-13, so there's not really much blood and gore here. But take it what it is. It's not so bad. I mean, yeah, a movie where the characters from the Jane Austen novels are fighting zombies. Yeah, that sounds a little dumb, but in context, this movie actually works pretty well. If you guys haven't seen Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, I say definitely give it a go. I think you'll probably have a fun time with it. Alright, coming in at number 9 is Scout's Guide and the Zombie Apocalypse. Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, my bad. Now, this movie actually sounded dumb before too, but it actually is loads of fun. It's pretty much about these Boy Scouts who's trying to defeat the zombies because there's like a zombie outbreak that happens. So it's up to the Boy Scouts to take these zombies down. And the film is directed by Christopher Landon, who also directed Happy Death Day, and he's doing the sequel. Scout's Guide is an awesome horror flick. It's actually more of a horror comedy, if you want to put it that way. And it's also led by Ty Sheridan, who was pretty awesome in this. Logan Miller, who was in that movie Love, Simon, was also the lead. You even had Cloris Leachman. I mean, the scene with Cloris Leachman in this is pretty funny. I don't want to spoil much because from the looks at the box office, I highly doubt anyone really even saw this movie. But if you guys haven't seen Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, give it a go. It still stinks that it didn't do well in the box office, because I would be down to see a sequel to this, because it is loads of fun. Alright, coming in at number 8 will be World War Z. Now, this movie is also a PG-13 rated zombie film, and it worked pretty well. It starred Brad Pitt, who's trying to fight off zombies to protect his family. It's also based on the book by Max Brooke. World War Z is such a fun drill ride. Now, this movie had like lots of problems during its production, but the movie itself turned out to be not a bad film. Brad Pitt was really awesome. The zombies in this actually look really cool. And of course, there's also like a sequel in the works with, I think, David Fincher's attached to direct. I'll be down to see a sequel to this because the first World War Z is really fun. If you guys still haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking it out. All right, coming in at number 7 will be Resident Evil, which is based on the video game and stars Mila Jovovich as the role of Alice. Now, the Resident Evil is, of course, based on the hit video game, and it's also directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. I really have fun with these Resident Evil films. I mean, they aren't like great or anything, but they're actually loads of fun to watch. Mila Jovovich is actually a really good actress as the like she plays the role of Alice really well. All the zombies always look cool. Yeah, I mean, I know they get lots of hate, but to me, they're not all that bad. And I remember hearing words about like them doing, possibly like a reboot down the line, which I'm okay with. I think like a new Resident Evil, like a reboot of Resident Evil could probably work. It'll be hard to do one without Mila Jovovich, but I'm sure someone will be just as good. All right. Coming in at number 6 will be 28 Days Later. This is such a cool zombie film. It was directed by Danny Boyle, which was interesting. I mean, this is a guy who's best known for directing stuff like The Beach, Trainspotting, Slumdog. So him doing a zombie movie is kind of an interesting choice, and it worked. I mean, 28 Days Later and its sequel, 28 Weeks Later, they were both pretty decent. Like, they're pretty gory at times. They're pretty fun. The zombies in this all look pretty cool. The first 28 Days Later came out in... Let me pull that here. Yeah, the first one was released in 2002, and it's still a zombie film that I think still holds up today. I mean, it's loads of fun. It's very, it's really bloody. Not, Walking Dead bloody, but there's some. Yeah, I mean, if you guys still haven't seen 28 Days Later or its sequel 28 Weeks Later, I highly recommend them. They're pretty good zombie films worth checking out. All right, coming in at number 5 is Day of the Dead. Now, I'm going with the original, which came out in 1980. Let me pull it here. It was released in 1985, and this one is completely gory. It's directed by George A. Romero, who is that guy was the king of zombie movies. Of course, I'm gonna have loads of George A. Romero movies on my list because I mean the guy knows zombies, and Day of the Dead is no different. I mean, it's so darn fun. This is definitely really gory and there's been like a few other Day of the Dead that got released after this, but they all could not live up to the hype of the original. I mean, if you guys still haven't seen the original Day of the Dead, give that one a go. I think that's definitely another zombie movie worth checking out. All right, coming in at number 4 is Zombieland, which was directed by Rupert Fleischer, who of course has Venom out now, and it also paired people like Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Abigail Breslin, and Emma Stone. Oh, and also it had a cameo by, kind of a spoiler, but it has a cameo by Bill Murray, who's pretty much who played a zombie in this. Zombieland is really funny. It's like loads of fun. It's definitely another good zombie movie we're checking out. And they're also doing a sequel which comes out next October. So keep your eye for that as well. But the first Zombieland movie, I mean, the movie came out 2009, and I guess it kind of still is talked about through the film community. Because, I mean, who doesn't love Zombieland? It's awesome. I mean, Woody Harrelson, taking down zombies. What more could you ask for? All right, coming in at number 3 is Shaun of the Dead. Now, this was directed by Edgar Wright and, of course, starred Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Shaun of the Dead is so darn funny. I guess you could say it's more of a spoof of the zombie genre. I mean, you can see it. There's like this film was influenced by George A. Romero zombie films. I mean, Shaun of the Dead is super funny. There's lots of funny jokes here. There's lots of funny gags. Some cool gores in this. I mean, if it got released in 2004, and man, it still gets talked about today. It's the first installment of the Cornetto. I think it's Cornetto trilogy. Of course, there was also that was Shaun of the Dead was followed up by Hot Fuzz and The World's End. I mean, Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, those two, they just play off each other perfectly. And too bad they never went ahead and did like a sequel to Shaun of the Dead, because it would be cool seeing these guys kill zombies again. All right, coming in at number 2 is Dawn of the Dead. Now, this got released in 1978, and Dawn of the Dead is just it's a 70s horror classic. It's for a 70s film. This movie got away with lots of gore in it. I always keep forgetting how that they could get away with this stuff back in the days. Of course, it actually looked way fake back in the days because they didn't have the technology we have now. But I mean, Dawn of the Dead is just perfect. It's also pretty gory. George A. Romero once again did an amazing job. I mean, George A. Romero, that guy just does perfect when it comes to zombie films. And what he did with Dawn of the Dead, and he has another film that I'm going to mention in my number 1 spot, but yeah, Dawn of the Dead is just amazing. And of course, they also remade it with that was directed by Zack Snyder. That was also pretty good too. But the original is where it's at. If you guys haven't seen the original Dawn of the Dead, I think you'll probably get a kick out of it. All right, coming in at number 1, it's a no surprise. My number 1 favorite zombie movie of all time is the one that kind of set the zombie genre, and that is Night of the Living Dead. I mean, of course you gotta have Night of the Living Dead at number 1. If it wasn't for Night of the Living Dead, we wouldn't have stuff like Walking Dead. We wouldn't have any of the zombie movies on my list if it wasn't for Night of the Living Dead. I mean, Night of the Living Dead got released in the 60s. Let me know what. 1960 something. In 1968, and this movie was a milestone in the zombie genre. I think this was George A. Romero's first feature film, if I'm not mistaken, and bravo to him. What he did with Night of the Living Dead is just amazing. It was fully in black and white, and it's literally pretty fun to watch. It is pretty gory at times too. And it's also the first horror thriller to star a black lead, which was actor Dwayne Jones. So that kind of set history as well. And I mean, who doesn't love Night of the Living Dead? It has some pretty cool lines like "They're coming to get you, brother," and a few other lines. It's amazing. Like I said, if it wasn't for this, we wouldn't have Walking Dead and any other zombie film. So yeah, I mean, if you guys still haven't seen Night of the Living Dead, they also did a few sequels, which was alright, but the original where it's at. If you guys haven't seen Night of the Living Dead, watch it. I think you'll definitely love it. And you'll see where Walking Dead was influenced by. Alright, well, that's it for my 10 favorite zombie movies. Let me do the quick rundown. Number 10, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. 9, Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. 8, World War Z. 7, Resident Evil. 6, 28 Days Later. 5, Day of the Dead. 4, Zombieland. 3, Shaun of the Dead. 2, Dawn of the Dead. And number 1, Night of the Living Dead. Now, also that I could also add stuff like Evil Dead's a classic. Let's see, the Zack Snyder version of Dawn of the Dead I could have added. Zombie Strippers with Janet Jameson, who, come on, that's more of a guilty pleasure. It's not a good movie, but it's like it's so good, it's bad film, you know? It's so bad, it's good, that's what I'm going to say. But yeah, let me leave it to you guys. What are your favorite zombie movies of all time? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Thomas L. signing off.